Okay, people, welcome back to what is the second attempt of our Slab Stucker game. Today we're going to be starting from scratch, and we are going to try and finish this game because the last time we tried and attempted this game, we ran into a bug. Well, technically we didn't. Everything was fine until I closed the project. And then one day, before I was going to film the next episode, I think it was episode 4 or something, I opened it up again and then just nothing was working. And I've been through it multiple times trying to figure out why it's not working, and I haven't figured it out. So we're going to attempt this again, start from scratch, and try and get done this time. So let's jump into it and start from scratch. So here we go. Slab Stucker. If you don't remember, let's go over this again. If you don't remember, before we start, what the game is about is how do I demonstrate this? Let me just show you. Open up my art. So if you remember, or if you're new here, let me explain it. What the object of this game was, it was going to start off with a what's it called, a 3D cube at the very bottom of the game. You start off with a 3D cube, and then what you have to do is you have these slabs, kind of like rectangular slabs coming in from the left and the right, and as they come in they will eventually go over the current starting cube, and each time a new slab is instantiated into the scene or the game, you have to each time it comes into the game it goes up a level. So the object of the game is for you to stop the slab on top of the previous cube or slab, so that you can try and build up the stack of slabs as high as you can until you run out of space, because obviously the likelihood of you stopping the slab on top of the previous one perfectly is very, very slim. So if you don't, and there's a piece that's overhanging, that piece that is overhanging will eventually fall off, and then the new slab in the next round and the next level becomes the size of the current topmost slab, if that makes sense. So if you put this slab here, this is your previous slab, this very top one, this light blue one. If you stop that slab there, and then there is an extra piece that goes out like this that is hanging off, this piece over here will drop off exactly like this, and then you're left off with this piece over here, the piece that's on top of the previous slab. This piece, the topmost piece, now becomes the size of the next slab that gets instantiated into the scene. So in other words, the slab that gets instantiated into the scene is going to get smaller and smaller depending on whether you stop it with an overhang. So, which is very likely that you would. I mean, you might get one or two stops that don't stop with an overhang, which is very impressive. But the ones that do stop with an overhang, you will make the slab smaller for the next round. So let's go ahead and start it. So what we're going to do, this episode is going to be based upon setting up the game, creating a block, the cube that sits at the bottom, and then creating another cube slab, kind of rectangular slab thing that will move in past on the top of the first cube, and then once we've got the slab in, we want to go and make it move, and then once we've done that, we want to go and make it stop whenever we click on the screen. So let's go and do that. The first thing we want to do is let's go and create a cube. So this is our 3D cube. I am going to reposition that at 0, 0, 0. That's fine. So there, let's go and click on that. So this is what we want our camera to look like, something like this, but not only in our scene view, we also want it to be our game view. So this is what we want our game view to be. So let's go and click on our camera. So this is not where we want our camera, so I've got some preset values here that I want to change. So first of all, let's go and change the skybox to a solid color so that we have a nice deep black. So we'll change that to that, and then we want to change it from perspective to orthographic. And then let's go and change the position. So the X position we want to set at 2.7. The Y position we want to set at 4.5, and then the Z position is going to be 3.1. You can change these values depending on how you want the camera to look like and how you want your game to be set up. So the rotation on the x-axis is going to be 36. The rotation on the y-axis is going to be -138. And then that's pretty much it. The size I'm going to leave at 2.5, and then pretty much everything else stays like that. So we'll save that before that. Hold on, let's try and... That's not the one. Minus... What did I say? This -138, -138. I don't know if I like that. I kind of want this to be straight, if that makes sense. So something like that. -130. No, -132. There probably is a much better way of doing this rather than simply hard coding it. So we'll put that at 3. So that is kind of, we'll leave that like that because I mean it's kind of in the middle. That's probably the best we're gonna get, but also we don't really want to spend the majority of this video trying to figure out these values. So we'll save that, and now what we have to do is we need to go and create a new slab. So let's go and create a new 3D cube, and then I'm going to reset this again, and then I am going to change the size of it on the y-axis. The scale is going to go from 1 to 0.55, and then that looks terribly wrong. Why does it look so wrong? Let's see, cube 1, we'll change this to 1.55. Okay, I think I messed up the value. So let's see, the scale needs to be 0.1, and then the y value needs to be 0.55. So if we zoom in here, let's try that again. If we zoom in here, you should see that this cube now kind of sits exactly on... No, let's put that back so we don't ruin that value. But this cube, if we move it from left to right, you can see that it sits exactly on top of the one beneath it, which is what we want. And the object of the game is you will have... Where is it? You will have these... I'll put the camera back. You will have these cubes over here spawning from one over here. It's going to come into the scene like this, and then you're going to have to stop it as soon as it gets over here. And then if you don't and you stop it over here, this bit over here is going to get cut off, and then you're going to be left with a smaller slab. And then what I think we might also do is we'll alternate it. So we'll have one slab that spawns over there, and we will then have another slab that comes in from this direction, like that. But we'll code this so they're all in line with they all in line and come in perfectly on top of the previous one. So, but for now, let's go and get rid of the second one that I spawned. Let's go and get rid of that. And then we will create in our assets folder here, we'll create a new folder called prefabs, and then this will be we'll call this our moving slab. Cool. So this is going to be our starting cube. You could probably make this a slab as well so that it's the same size, but I mean, we might as well just leave it how it is. Let's not mess up the game while it's working correctly. So what I do want to do is I want to add a material onto this so that we can change the color of it, because no one likes a boring looking game. So let's create a new folder. I completely forgot how to do this. Let's try. Materials. In our materials folder, we will create a new material. I think this is it. Let's see. I feel like, okay, let's try. Let's make it like a dark blue, something like that. And then what we want to do is on our starting cube we can go and drag that onto there. Okay, that's fine, but that doesn't look nice with the black background, so we'll make that a little bit lighter, like something probably like that. Cool. And then for our moving slab, what I'm going to do is, let's just do this. This is purely for looks now, because we're going to make this as a gradient later on in the series. So let's go and call this starting cube, and then this one will be our moving cube, and we'll change this to an orange color if we can get that. Let's make it something like that. So moving cube on there and starting cube on there. Okay, cool. So that's cool, that's what we want. So now let us go, let's see what's next in this episode. Okay, so we need to make a move. So assets, let's create another. Actually, what we need to do is we need to drag this into our prefabs folder so that we can create a prefab out of that, because we're going to respawn this or reinstantiate it every time we want another slab. We're just going to change the size of it, I think, I can't remember. And then in our assets folder, let's go and create a new folder and call this, you guessed it, scripts. In here we will create another script, and that's not a script, that's a scene. We'll create another C# script, and this is going to be called moving slab, I guess. On our moving slab we will add it onto there, moving. Let's try that again. On our moving slab, we will add a moving slab script to it. Let's go and open that up. And then we need some of these. That's the code that we need to write. So in here, where to go? In here, we need to go, and that's from yesterday's episode. Okay, so let's put that there so I can keep an eye on what's happening. So for today's script coding session, we are going to start working on the moving script. Why is it opening more than once? So I'm just going to put this up there, and then we'll get rid of this one just in case, because sometimes it opens more than once and you can only edit it in one. So in here, this is where we are going to move our script. So we don't need our start method, because we just don't need it. What we do need is we need to have a speed. So let's go and create a private, what's it going to be? It's going to be a float. Private float speed is going to be equal to 1. We'll set it as 1 just to make sure that it's not going to be too fast, and you'll actually have time to stop the slab on top of the original cube. So we'll set that like that, and then what we want to do is in the update method we want to go and say transform dot position is equal to, well, let's just go and add it straight onto, so plus equals transform dot forward times time dot delta time times our speed, like that. So we'll save that and jump back and make sure we have no errors. So now when we play the game, you should see that moves. So okay, so that's going to continuously moving. So if we zoom out, you can see that just moves on forever, so, which is not what we want. What we want, well, I mean, you kind of can do that, but as soon as you click on the screen, the entire slab is just going to stop. It's just going to stop, because when it goes over the cube, it becomes part of the falling slab that when you click on the screen, it falls. So let us go and tell our slab to stop moving whenever we go and click on the screen. So we need a way of clicking on the screen or registering our click. So let's go and make a game manager, What am I doing? Let's try that again. Game manager. Okay, so let's go and open that up. Cool. So in here, all we want to do is in our update method, this is where we are going to listen out for a click on the mouse. So we can say if the, what is it? If get, what is it? Input dot, I think it's get mouse button down, I think. Let's try that. So get mouse button down in, we'll try 0. I think I can't remember which is the right one, so we'll try 0, and then in here let's just go and say what am I doing? Debug.log, and then let's just say slab stopped. I don't know. Let's just see if this works, and then we can, if it doesn't work, figure out why. So we'll press play, and I feel like this is not going to work, mainly because we have not added in an empty game object for our game. Our game manager. So we added an empty game object manager. Empty game manager object, but now we have to go and attach the game manager script to that game manager object. So game, that's not gonna work because we need to rename this game manager like that, and then in here we should be able to say game manager like that. Okay, so we'll save that, and now when we press play and we click on our game here, we should see on our console slab stopped. So whenever we click on our mouse button, and it is only the left mouse button, so whenever that we click on that, it does register that we have clicked it, so that's good. So in here, this is where we want to go ahead and stop our moving cube, but now we need access to that moving cube, which we don't have in this class. So to do that, we can simply go into our moving slab class here and say moving slab. Actually, we need to set this as public so that we can access it. So public static, what is this going to be? It's going to be a moving slab, and we will call this moving slab like that. Okay, so we'll save that, and then in our, should we do this in our, let's try start at the very beginning. No, we can't do that because I don't know if it actually, let's go and do on, what's it called, on, let's see, on destroy, no, on enable, there we go. On whenever we instantiate a cube, this script is obviously going to be called, and then whenever we enable or instantiate a what's it called, a slab into the game, we want to go and set the moving slab to this, so something like that, if I can click on the correct button or key. So we'll save that like that, and then whenever we click on, that should be fine. So whenever we click on the mouse button, we want to go and say moving slab dot stop. So that's going to call a stop method, which we will go and create right now. We could have done it before, but we'll save that like that, and then in here under our on enable we can go and say public void stop. What am I doing? It's when you try and type too fast. Void stop, like, okay, so that wasn't my fault, it does it automatically because you can't apparently type stop without typing brackets. Okay, I mean you can, clearly it works. Don't know what happened the first 2 times, but in here this is where we are going to tell our moving cube to stop. So in we could just say speed is equal to 0, I think. Let's try that. And then let's jump back into here and see if it works. So let's play the game. Clearly we have an error there, so let's go and see public void moving slab dot stop. What's happening here? Okay, so that is clearly not working. Let's see. Okay, so that we need to probably in here go and say get with what's today? Private set. Let's try that. So because we can't really that needs to be over there, I think. So we can't. Why doesn't I can't see any errors or anything? Let's see what it says in the Unity editor. Okay, so an object reference is required for a non-static field method or property moving slab.stop. What happens if we go and say does that work? Actually, you know what I think will work is this. What is happening with my... There's something definite. I think I might need to update this. So moving slab dot stop should technically work. Okay, good. So that should be fine. Now we're accessing the moving slab off that script, or vice versa, whichever one's correct. So we click on the game, you see the moving slab is now stopped. Let's try that again, but let's just move our moving slab more over there so we can actually see it. I don't want to move that back up there. So we'll play the game, and now whenever we click on our game, we can see that this, let me just zoom in here quickly. So this, you can see, actually let me zoom out. So you can see that it does work. The game is now stopping whenever we click on the actual game window. You can see that I mean, it didn't do a bad job, but there is an overhang here. So I think maybe in the next episode or two, this is what we're going to work on. We're going to start working on slicing this bit off. So we're not really going to slice it. All we're going to do is we're going to resize this to the size that is still on top of the cube, and then just spawn in the remaining of the slab. So we're going to spawn in another slab and resize that into what was left of the sliced bit, if that makes sense. Alrighty, so that is pretty much it for today's episode. Hopefully this part of the series, or the second attempt of this moving slab stacking game, goes without any problems like we had on the previous series. But that, I think, is pretty much it for today's episode. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. You don't want to miss out on the next episodes. We're going to start working on going back to our Tetris game soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's episode again. So I will see you in tomorrow's episode when we continue with our slab stacking game. So yeah, goodbye.